Welcome back, nerds. We are your hosts. I am Chad.
And I'm Jake.
This week we are sponsored by Ray's Energy Drinks.
We're also sponsored by Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce.
This week we are going to start diving into Vox Machina, which is on Amazon Prime.
So good.
It's so good.
And we'll also be talking about the Peacemaker finale and filling in a couple of gaps since we missed a couple episodes for you guys. So, Jake?
I thought you
I
said you were going to do it.
Oh, well, I can. Oh, I am supposed to do it. My bad. I wrote that down. Wrong.
Just
Uh,
leave it. Let's
yeah,
go.
let's get into it. This is the All Things Nerd podcast. Nerd.
Welcome back, nerds. This is the All Things Nerd podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd.
You good?
Oh, yeah, sorry, that shot hit me weird. So, you guys will have to excuse me. I have a bit of a cough, so I may kind of lean out of frame a couple times and get that out of my system. I do apologize. Um,
You should.
how was your week, dude?
Well, I mean, it was my first full week back at work, which was, it was fine.
Yeah,
It's work. It was good to get back into routine. Granted, the past couple nights I shot myself in the foot by staying up way too late, binge watching TV.
what are you watching?
Well, we'll be talking about like Vox Machina. I finished the latest episodes because they have been releasing them in episodes of 3. So fucking good.
But you're also watching Reacher, right?
I did start watching Reacher also on Amazon Prime, and I'm hooked.
Yeah, I finished it. That shit is super good.
Yeah, I will probably by the end of the day tomorrow. So for those of you that are listening, I'll be done with the show by the time this comes out. It's so good.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's been great being back in Minnesota. It's nice. It's so cold and windy, especially in St. Cloud because there's like not any other towns to like break up the wind or anything like that.
Yeah.
But fuck, there was a wind advisory yesterday. It ripped part of the gutter off of my apartment building right above my window. So now when the wind blows and it's not aggressive, we had like 35-mile-an-hour winds. But now when it just like blows, you just hear right outside my window. It's so annoying.
That's
But
hilarious.
at least today was like upper 30s, so not bad.
That's it. Oh, it was 43 degrees down here.
Yeah, I think it got up to 38 or 39.
Nice.
Again, St. Cloud is kind of like the first of actual cities before you get to the metro
Yeah.
as you head east from the Dakotas and shit.
Yeah.
But what about you? How was your week?
Week's been good. So the house that Nicole and I wanted, the owners finally, I can't remember if I talked about it at all last week or whatever.
You
But
just said that they were being difficult and that you probably weren't gonna get it.
yeah, and so our realtor called us and was like, "Oh, hey, those people, they agreed to sign our terms, and so they actually signed it, which means that they can no longer back out of the deal. The
Nice.
only thing that could fuck us over is if the house fails inspection, which I don't think it would. It's a really nice house.
It
So,
looks really nice. Yeah.
but yeah, so that happened. We went to the Wild game on Friday. We lost. And
It was not good.
I got really drunk, like
What?
really drunk. Like
But
Saturday was miserable. Like all day Saturday was
why did you
miserable.
get so drunk on Friday?
Okay, so
There's a couple of reasons.
Nicole's friend brought her best friend and her boyfriend, who I had never met before. And I see where you go. I was like, couple of reasons. One is that I no longer work Saturdays, so that's amazing.
Mm.
Yeah. This was my first weekend not working Saturdays in 16 years, guys. Been a long time. Um, but also her friend's boyfriend is a giant. He's they said he was I asked I was like, is he bigger yeah, he's a little taller than you. A little taller is an understatement. This man is 6'8". I'm 6'2". It's very, very not often is it that I feel small next to somebody and I was like, holy shit. Anyways, we were throwing some drinks back and I was trying to keep up with this guy. And the funny part is I didn't find out till the next day was that he was trying to keep up with me. So the two of us were kind of like having a pissing contest without trying
No,
to knowing
you
that
guys were
yeah.
just playing chicken without
Yeah.
knowing that you were in a game of chicken.
Well, he's so big. I was like, there's like this guy, like I can keep up with this guy, but that apparently he was trying to keep up with me too. So yeah, but Saturday was miserable. Yeah, I was in rough shape.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Saturday, I played Dungeons and Dragons, which was
Mm.
awesome. So much fun. I do like we play it once a month, roughly. Myself and our producer Alan and some of his friends, we get together once a month and play Dungeons and Dragons. We do it virtually. It's just a blast, man. It's so much fun. Super nerdy, I know, but a ton of fun.
That's what we're all about.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
it's a great deal of fun. Um, enough catching up, I guess. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead and tell everyone about our first sponsor, so we can get on talking about Vox Machina.
Yeah, first sponsor is Ray's Energy Drinks, zero sugar, 0 calories, and zero crash. They're really good energy drinks. I have a shit ton of them here. But they also make other things like cake in a cup, uh, protein packed pancakes, all sorts of shit. So listen up and we'll tell you more about it.
What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Raise Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with zero crash. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high quality formula to bring a powerful yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, empowered by their refresh formula technology, Raise Energy delivers a performance enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Raise Energy has absolutely 0 calories, zero sugar, and zero carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you. All right, guys. So we want to talk about this awesome show on Amazon Prime. It seems very nerdy and very niche, but it is so good. It is called The Legends of Vox Machina, and it's basically an animated Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and I'll explain why in a little bit.
I think you should just lead into it now since you already brought it up.
So, for those of you that are not familiar with the web series, and I think they do a podcast too, called Critical Role. It is a bunch of nerdy voice actors, that have credits across the board from, animated like movies, TV shows, video games. Also, a handful of people that have some smaller roles in the show are like bigger actors or more familiar actors.
Mm-hmm.
And Critical Role is a bunch of like these voice actors that get together and they play Dungeons and Dragons. They like do a web show while they're playing their campaigns, and that's what the show is based on. The show is based on their Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. Like this entire season has been one of their campaigns.
Yeah.
But what's cool is that the people that voice the characters in the show, those are their Dungeons and Dragons characters from the campaign. So they voice their own characters and they like pull dialogue from the web series. All of that. It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Like it's a ton of fun. And
It's
just like
hilarious.
knowing that makes it that much better because yeah, the show is hilarious.
Fucking hilarious.
It's also super gory.
Yeah, love it. It's
'Cause-
got very Invincible vibes to it.
Yeah, I think a lot of like the animation team probably
Mm-hmm.
worked on both, especially because they're both Prime shows.
Yeah.
But it's so good. Like you have your healer, you have your bard, you have your tank, your elves, your
Yep.
engineer. Like it's
Yeah.
so much fun. I love this show.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, season 1 is done now, but I can't wait for season 2. If it
Yeah.
doesn't get picked up for a season 2, I'm going to be pissed.
I'm 3 or 4 episodes behind, but I'll get those finished by the end of this week for sure.
Yeah,
But yeah. Did you finish it? You're
I
finished?
did. I am
Okay.
all finished with it, and I'm sold that this is
Yeah.
top animated shows out there right now. If not one of the top shows that's out there right now.
Yeah.
It was better than Book of Boba Fett, and we spent weeks talking about it.
Oh, Boba Fett.
It's so good. Who are your favorite characters?
Pike. Well, so it's funny because my 2 favorite characters are the 2 smallest people on the team.
They're both
Uh,
gnomes.
Pike, who is their healer, and Scanlan, who is like a sex addicted
He's their bard.
like dwarf. Yeah.
He's all about
He's-
using music and seducing people and having magical abilities.
Yeah. And he bangs anything that moves. And it's not
In a
He's
true
not just
bard
like-
fashion, though.
yeah. It's hilarious. Like there's a part in the show where they're where they're talking about spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Where they're talking about they're all going around telling stories about like the worst monster they ever faced. And Scanlan starts telling his story, and it's basically they do like a flash of him like laying on a bed, and some girl is just like riding him, and everyone's like, "Dude, come on!" And he's like, "I didn't finish," and then like they go back to his like story, and like the girl like sprouts another like demonic head off of her body, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, that's so fucked up!" Like,
Yeah,
what the fuck, dude? And Scanlan's like, "Ask me if I finished." He's like, "Yeah, I finished."
He's just hilarious. My 2 favorite characters are Grog, who's their tank. They try to give him, in like depiction at least, very like Drax the Destroyer-esque vibes, like
Yeah.
body tattoos,
Mm.
just massive person.
Yeah.
And then Keyleth, and she's a woodland elf that is part healer, just like part warlock, I guess.
Yeah.
They're so funny, but also just such key characters when it comes to like coming in clutch in battles and stuff like that. But just their comedic roles are just so great. I love it.
Yeah. We'll probably talk a little more about it after I've finished the series.
Yeah.
Maybe next week we'll mention it for like 5-10 minutes and wrap up this season since we didn't do like a play-by-play on every episode like we normally do. But we've just had so much to talk about lately that
Yeah.
it was hard to fit everything.
Yeah, but also, I mean, with the show, I mean, in fantasy nerd realms, like we get to see them battle a dragon.
Mm.
It's a lot of fun. We get introduced to the Briarwoods like halfway through
They're vampires.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
vampire and witch, warlock,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. But there's also like there's like zombies in the show. There's werewolves or kind of werewolves. I don't know what the fuck those
Yeah, I
things are
don't know
called.
what they were, but they were intense, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. There's all
It's a
sorts of
lot of
crazy
fun.
shit. Yeah, that's a good show. Go check it out. We'll talk more about it next week when I finish it.
Also, like the first few episodes, just kind of like get you introduced to the characters and you learn the dynamics.
Yeah.
Um, Also, for those of you guys that have watched it all the way through, or at least part way through, whatever it might be, I'm just gonna say now, if you think Percy is your favorite character, you're wrong.
Yeah.
He's kind of a bitch.
He's a whiny little bitch. Oh, my parents got killed. You know, whatever.
Wah.
Yeah.
So did Harry Potter's, and like every other action hero ever. But uh, I mean, honestly, guys, go check out the show. It's a lot of fun. It's really enjoyable. Even if you're not like Dungeons and Dragons fans, like it's a really enjoyable show. And just knowing that that's where it came from just adds a little bit more to like the
Right.
nerd enjoyment. At least for me, as someone that plays Dungeons and Dragons.
I don't play it, and I love the show. So, you know,
Yeah,
go check it out. It's fun.
I know that that was super brief, but there's a lot to talk about with Peacemaker and stuff like that. But before we do that, we do just have to mention our next sponsor.
This is you,
I
just
know.
so you know. Okay.
I know. I know that I'm off my game and that I've already messed up several times this episode. Uh, but our other sponsor this week is Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes on damn near everything. So good. So listen up, learn a little bit more about it, and we'll be right back to talk about the season finale of Peacemaker. Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today.
All right, guys. We're gonna talk about the season finale, and I say season finale because it has been renewed for a second season of
Yes.
Peace. Huh?
I was just saying yes.
Oh, so Peacemaker, the season finale. Um, it was awesome. We do have to mention, uh, last week we did not talk about the last episode.
And
The
spoiler alerts.
Yeah, spoiler alert. One, two, three. All right, you had enough time. Uh, the climatic thing that happens in the end of this episode is that Peacemaker kills his dad,
Yeah,
shoots him right in the noggin,
just blows his brains out.
and then cries like a baby about
Yeah,
it.
then he does cry.
My parents are dead. You know, whatever. That whole thing.
Yeah, okay, Percy. I mean Harry. I mean what? Yeah,
uh,
but his dad was a racist piece of shit.
yeah.
So
Known as White Dragon.
yeah, like a little on the nose there. Could have
But
just
yeah,
been called the White Wizard, Grand Wizard. Yeah, that's how
nice.
terrible of a character like he was. Like he
Yeah,
was a villain from start to finish. Um, but also like his suit was super badass, like super comic accurate
yeah,
and very Iron Man-y as well.
yeah. But like made out of rubber, you know.
Well, yeah. Have you come
Yeah.
across that high grade of metal in the deep south? I didn't think so. Sorry, that's a little mean
No, it's not.
towards the south, not
Anyway,
towards his character. Fuck Peacemaker's dad. piece of shit.
So the finale episode kind of opens up with all the Peacemaker, Abadayo, Vigilante, Harcourt sitting in the back of a van. Well, Harcourt's not; she's driving it, I believe.
Yeah.
But as we know, maybe we don't. But Abadayo set. Oh yeah, we knew this.
Yeah, we talked about
Uh,
it.
Abadayo set Chris or Peacemaker up with his weird little diary, and he knows that she did it now.
Fake diary. But
Yeah,
yeah.
and he knows that she's the one who did it now. And so they're sitting in the back of the van, and she's like, "I'm sorry," and he just
Yeah.
every time she tries to open her mouth, he just starts making fart noises. And then Vigilante joins in, and it's fucking hilarious, dude. I know it's like
It even
5-year-old
got
humor,
it
but
got to a point too where like he did it for like a couple of minutes. It's like, I'm sorry, were you trying to say something? And then she starts to like talk again. He goes
yeah.
like
but then,
super
but then he
childish.
but then he gets like super serious, and he's like, "Fuck you! Like you did this. I thought you were my fucking friend," and like unloads on her. And he's like, "I don't really fucking care about you. Let's just finish the mission." Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool.
And then she tries to speak one more time, and Vigilante does the fart noise, and Peacemaker's like, "Dude, we're past that."
Yes. It's so funny.
Absolutely hilarious.
Oh god.
But so the team minus Mern, because Mern dies in the last episode as well.
Oh yeah. A lot happened in the last episode.
Yeah, sorry guys. Whoops. Uh, but so they're gonna go try and kill the cow, which is basically the alien that produces the nutrients that the butterflies need to survive.
Yeah.
So without the cow, all the butterflies will eventually starve to death and die.
Yeah. They eat its titty milk.
It's like titty splooge, really.
Yeah.
It's
It's like yellow. It's
like jaundiced splooge.
it's gross.
It's more like honey, realistically, but
Yeah.
it's
But
funnier to describe
the
it this way.
cow is super funny looking because it's like a giant maggot basically with like a bunch of eyes, but it only has one like pointed tooth in the front. It's fucking hilarious. I don't
It's like a Powerpuff Girls villain. Like that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely,
that's right.
like it doesn't talk, it doesn't do anything. It just kind of like sits there and goes, "Roar,"
Yeah.
and then gets milked for its honey.
Yeah, it's just got a bunch of like machines jerking
Like coming.
jerking it off. Oh, you mean like coming?
Wow, that was really gross. Cows killer lemonade. Okay, cool.
It's kind of but sure.
What?
I don't want to say the word that he says in the thing.
Oh yeah,
No.
yeah, cool. I
Anyways,
get where you're going with that.
there were some cool things in here. Well, they mentioned Green Arrow, who has not been portrayed in any of the movies or any side projects so far. But they mention him in this, which I thought was pretty cool.
It is super funny. Basically, because they're trying to find backup because they're going
Yeah.
against like an army of butterflies, which sounds weird. But so they're going against like this army of aliens. They're trying to kill like the cow,
Yeah.
and the team's like, "Yo, we need backup. Like, there's just the five of us. We can't do this." And they start listing off because we also now know at this point in time that Adebayo's mom, or the rest of the team knows that Adebayo's mom is Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
Like, well, can she call in like the Justice League? Fuck, like even like Green Arrow, and
Yeah.
Peacemaker's like, fuck Green Arrow. I heard he goes to brony conventions dressed as Twilight Sparkle, but just the back half with a 4-inch hole cut in the butthole. And it's either Adebayo or Harcourt's like, you're an idiot. Like, you have all of these rumors about like all these other heroes and why they suck. And Diebeard or Economos, if you watch New Girl, it's also Outside Dave, is like, no, I heard that one's true. I have heard that one. He's
Yeah.
like, he spouts a lot of bullshit, but I've heard about that one.
We also uh Jesus Christ. Fuck Peacemaker. Oh my God. That's what I get for making fun of you for being off your game. Uh he's like haunted by his dad who he killed.
Yeah.
So they have a confrontation in the woods. Peacemaker shoots him with a blow dart, but he just shot a tree because his dad was not there. This
The ghost of his dad is also like, why didn't you just like use your gun? And he's like, the enemy is right there. They would hear it, and also I know you're a fucking ghost. Like, why would I waste ammo on you?
I'm
Like,
gonna use a blow dart instead.
and like in Peacemaker's mind, like he just like nails his dad in like the forehead with a poison dart,
Yeah.
but really he just shoots a tree.
Yeah. It was it was actually kind of sad but funny at the same time.
Yeah, which is kind of how they've portrayed like his entire backstory and his family dynamic, especially with
Yeah.
his dad.
Yeah.
We also see, so they bring a bunch of Peacemaker's
Oh
helmets,
yeah. Yeah.
including the scabies one. He's like, yeah, that one will give you scabies. And they're like, why? He's like, in case you ever wanted to have scabies,
Yeah.
if you ever wanted to try it. Um,
Sonic
the
Boom.
Sonic Boom one that we saw at the end of the first episode, that
Mm,
blows up
yeah.
the first butterfly that we actually
Yeah.
see. Um,
But it only has a charge for like a couple.
yeah, so they
Yeah.
try and or Peacemaker really tries to get Eagly to carry the helmet across the field to the barn so that they can
Just
bury.
drop it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so fucking funny because Eagly doesn't really respond at
It's
first, and Harcourt's like, "This isn't gonna fucking work." He doesn't know what you're saying, and eventually Eagly like picks up the helmet and starts to fly away, and you're like, "Holy shit!" Like this works.
yeah.
And then what
Yeah.
happens?
And then Eagle just flies way off course and drops the helmet in the woods. But I was gonna say prior to that, it's very reminiscent to Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where
Oh,
Rocket is
with
trying to
Groot.
teach Baby Groot like which button to push. And he's like, don't push this button. This button will kill us all. Push this button. And he goes, so which button did I tell you to push? And Baby Groot pushes at the wrong button. And he's like, no, that's the one I said not to push. And that's like the kind of like the conversation that
Yeah.
I keep calling him Chris instead of Peacemaker, but
Well, his
he
character's name is Chris Smith.
yeah,
So,
yeah. But like that's he's like, I need you to take the helmet and drop it here. And Eagle is like, what? And he's like, no, take the helmet and drop it here. It's super funny. And then like Eagle does it, and they're like, oh my god, it actually listened. And you see the bird like flying this way, and it just veers off, and then just drops the helmet into the woods. It's fucking
like
hilarious.
way off in the distance.
That's
So
fucking great.
then they, Economos, Diebeard, has to dress as like a police officer because most of the police in this town are now under the butterfly control.
Oh
And
yeah.
carry a duffel bag with that helmet into the the bottom.
Why?
Of,
Why is the costume all wet? Because people shit themselves when they die. I don't want to wear these diarrhea pants. I didn't say there was diarrhea. Oh, there was diarrhea.
it's so funny. Uh, and Economos takes the duffel bag. Oh, okay. My chair just like deflated itself.
Bye.
He takes the duffel bag with the helmet downstairs, like in this barn to where the cow is. He sees the cow and is like, nope, fuck this. I'm done with kaijus, which is what he
Yeah.
called Starro in
Yeah.
the Suicide Squad.
Mhm.
Kaiju is basically just, it means giant
Big
monster.
fucking monster. Yeah.
And just like leaves. And then he gets stopped by some of the other butterflies that he's trying to like mimic. And they ask him why
Oh yeah.
his human body that like he's,
Yeah.
because he's supposed to be a butterfly, why his beard is so weird. And he finally admits that it's because he dyes it because he didn't think
Sorry, beard.
anyone would notice and was sad about it.
Never had a girlfriend.
Yeah. And
It's a
it's just,
sad. Yeah.
it's it's funny but sad and touching, and like no one on the rest of the team is like, I fucking knew it. Like they're
Yeah.
like, oh, we gave him such shit for this, and it's a really sad story.
Yeah.
And then a butterfly comes up with the duffel bag. He's like, that guy dropped it down
Oh
here.
yeah.
What is this? And so they try to start to attack Economos, and so they use the sonic boom above ground to try and at least
Yeah.
bury the cow, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, Chris goes in. As we've seen him the entire fucking show, he's not very light on his feet.
No, but he's
Like,
a fucking monster. Like he has his
yeah,
like
it's just
Peacemaker
hilarious.
shield and is like busting
I'm
skulls.
No, I'm talking about when he like falls through the
Oh
floor
yeah, when
and
he
he's
gets
like
through.
bam, 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 like literally just all the way. Like the first was it the first or second episode where he's like trying to evade the police and he's jumping from balcony to balcony and he eats shit every single time he lands. Like he
Yeah,
never once lands on his feet. It's just very much like that. He literally is just fucking a wrecking ball.
yeah.
Gets down there, fights one of the cop lady, I forget her name, that gets taken over by a butterfly. They get
I
in a
don't remember
fight.
her name. Officer Song, I want to
No, I
say.
don't remember.
Yeah, it's something like that. Her character, like you know that she's gonna be a big deal, but she's not that big of a deal until she
Yeah.
becomes a butterfly.
And they
But
base
also up like above ground, just to not like skip too far ahead and then come back to it. Harcourt and Vigilante are trying to just
oh
like
yeah.
take out as many butterflies as possible.
Yeah.
Vigilante is, they made him very Deadpool esque, especially in this part with
Hmm. The
like
sword.
the sword and just like
Yeah.
wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
He gets shot.
Yep.
Harcourt gets shot multiple times and is
Yep.
just like down.
Yeah.
And Adebayo is like, fuck it, I'm going in. And we actually see like that she's a badass.
Yeah.
Like she's not actually like
Her mom is
timid.
Amanda Waller.
Yeah, timid behind a gun or anything like
Yeah.
that. Like she goes in and just shooting people in the face, like shooting butterflies out of the air as they try to
Yeah.
escape. Like absolutely great. But also Economos like trips over the fence and just like breaks his leg and has to crawl the entire way.
So stupid. So stupid.
And that's going on like basically while Peacemaker has been like
Yeah.
buried under the rubble because he just fell through the stairs instead of walking down them. And then what were you
The,
gonna say, Jake? Sorry, I
well,
didn't
yeah,
like.
he fights Goff basically, which was the butterfly he had in the jar earlier in the series, and then Abadayo shows up wearing his we forgot to mention one of his helmets called Human Torpedo. You don't want to use this helmet because it'll basically shatter your spine and
Yeah,
kill
it
you.
was a prototype that wasn't ready to be used yet.
And she uses it to try to save Abadayo uses it to try to save Chris, and she completely misses her target and just hits the wall and dies. No, she doesn't
Only
die.
no, she doesn't die, but she goes limp, like
Yeah.
knocks herself out.
But then the butterflies tell a very convincing story to Chris about how on their planet they fucked up and they are trying to save the human race by not letting the humans make the same mistakes that they did on their planet. And Peacemaker gets a tear down his eye, and you kind of think like, oh man, he's buying into their bullshit. And he pulls out a gun and just starts shooting people.
And
Uh,
we get like flashbacks to like him and his
yeah,
brother and like
yeah,
why he made the vow to only kill in the name of peace,
yep,
because we find out through a freak accident he's the
yeah,
reason for his
yeah,
brother's death.
yeah.
Uh
Not really a freak accident. His
well,
dad
his
made them fight each
yeah,
other.
he turned them into fucking dogfighters or
Which
cockfighters
you
or
were right. You were totally right about that part because we disagreed about that part. I thought
yeah,
his dad had something to do with it, maybe. But you were right. It was just an
yeah,
accident.
just
Yeah,
hit him and just he died.
got him in the sweet spot. Yeah,
Uh, but because of that, so Chris is kind of like contemplating. It seems like he's like considering joining the Butterflies, and then Adebayo just kind of like stumbles in like half out of it
with the helmet still
with the
on.
helmet still on, and he's like, "Activate human torpedo," which activates the helmet on her, and she flies through the cow, killing
Killing
it.
it. Yeah,
And the cow is the only thing that's allowing the butterflies to stay alive.
yeah. It's
So
hilarious.
basically, any butterfly that's still there is,
Now has no food
yeah, they
because
have
they
limited
can't
time.
consume. They can breathe our air. They can drink our water, but they cannot eat any of our food. So the cow was the only thing that would keep them alive.
Yeah.
And he just killed it with Abadayo's body. So it was hilarious.
And she like flies into the cow and then falls out of it. He's like,
And
"What the
like,
fuck? This is
and then
so
like
gross."
guts just come like raining down on her. It's fucking hilarious. And I think for Peacemaker, he was just kind of like, all right, we're even.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking hilarious. Um, fuck.
Well, as they're
Get that.
leaving that battle scene, because Adebayo did reach out to her mom, is like, "Hey, we need backup." As they're leaving the battle scene, who shows up, Jake?
The well, part of the fucking Justice League shows up. We get silhouettes of Aquaman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and Superman. And I remember when I watched it, I was like, "That's fucking lame silhouettes." Like, come on.
Yeah.
But then basically, Chris just flips out and he's like, "You guys are too fucking late, you motherfuckers!"
Yeah.
Like,
Fucking
or
dickheads.
dickheads, yeah. And then walks by them, and he literally just walks past the
Jason
Flash
Momoa.
and Jason Momoa, and
He's like, "Why don't
they're
you go
kind of
fuck another fish?"
yeah. You
And
go.
Jason
Sorry.
Momoa responds, and it is Jason Momoa that
Yeah,
is in this scene, and
yeah.
he is like, "That's just a fucking rumor." So like already one f bomb out of Jason
Yeah.
Momoa, and then Barry
Ezra
Ezra
Miller.
Miller is like, "Yo, that's not a rumor."
And Momoa is like,
Momoa turns to him and
"Fuck
goes,
you, Barry."
"Fuck you, Barry,"
Yeah,
and
it's hilarious.
that's it. That's all that they're there for. But it's hilarious, and the
Yeah.
fact that that made it canon makes it that much better. And just the story behind it, basically James Gunn went to Warner Brothers and was like, "Hey, like, can we do these?" And they're like, "I don't see why not. Like, is it gonna like be that impactful? I don't know." And then he went to Jason Momoa and was like, "Would
Now
you
when
do
they're
this?"
fucking up shit at the way that they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Jason Momoa was like, "I am so down for this. Like, that sounds hilarious. Whatever you need, I'm there for it." And it was to the point where James Gunn wanted that interaction between Aquaman and the Flash, that Ezra Miller wasn't actually there to shoot that scene, which is why there's heavily silhouetted. James Gunn went to the set of the Flash that they're while they were filming it to just film that scene with Ezra Miller in front of a green screen to
Yeah.
put him into that scene so
Which
that
is
there could be
amazing.
that interaction. Like
Yeah.
that's how, and they were so both of them were so down for it, and it was just
Yeah.
hilarious.
Hilarious. Um, Abadayo outs her mom. This is another cameo that was in this episode. We do get to see Viola Davis again as Amanda Waller.
Yeah,
Basically, Abadayo is like, my mom is, well, she doesn't say it's her mom at first. She's like, there's a organization that's pulling the strings behind the Suicide Squad and blah 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 and
yeah.
all this and that. And she goes, and that person is my mom, Amanda Waller. And then they show Viola Davis watching it on TV, and she's like, "What
What
the
the
fuck?"
fuck? Yeah.
Yeah, it
and
was
then
cool.
and then we see like the team, uh, Peacemaker, Adebayo, Economos, Harcourt at the hospital because
Oh yeah,
Harcourt is like dying,
yeah,
and Vigilante is
dying,
bleeding and
die,
dying, but
also
he's
dying.
refusing to get like
He
hospital
does it.
attention.
His the funniest thing that about Vigilante the whole show is that he is trying so hard to protect his identity, but
As a fry cook.
everybody fucking knows who he is. Everyone already knows, and he like is so adamant about protecting his so he won't get any medical help. He's like, they're like, you're gonna have to admit yourself, and he's like, no, no, I'm fine. He's like, I just need to like, or he's like, it's not like I'm like falling over or anything. And he just goes, falls over.
Just
Yeah.
drops. And as the
uh,
nurses and doctors like run over to like pick him up and save him, Peacemaker and Adebayo are like, okay, and just like leave him there. Like, it's this show is gold,
yeah.
guys.
I think it's just anything that James Gunn touches is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we get there is a very sweet moment between Peacemaker and Harcourt,
Yeah.
where he's talking to her. She like reaches out her hand from the hospital bed. They hold hands.
Yeah.
Very cute. Whatever.
Eh, whatever.
But the biggest thing is with him in Adebayo.
Oh yeah.
Peacemaker's like, don't tell Vigilante this, but outside of Eagly, you're my BFF.
Yeah.
And then, like walks out. Whatever.
Yeah. Then we get the last scene of the show. We see that Goff, the butterfly that was in that cop, is still alive, um, but dying, basically gonna starve to death.
Mm-hmm.
We assume anyway. And Peacemaker just pours like the last little bit of milk cum onto the onto the porch for it to eat, and it
Milk
eats it.
cum.
And Eagly flies in, and then you see a shadow, and you're like, "Who the fuck's that?" And it's his dad. It's the ghost of his dad, Ghost Dad. Sits down
Ghost dad.
on the sits down on the porch and just kind of smiles, like, "Haha, you can't get rid of me." Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good. Go watch it, even though we just told you everything about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Check it
we
out.
skipped a couple of episodes, so there's still some surprise in there. But honestly, the show is
Surprise, motherfucker!
surprise,
Surprise,
motherfucker.
motherfucker!
Supplies, motherfucker. All rise, motherfucker. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, you're probably too young or too old to know what Vine
Yeah.
was.
All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and close out this episode. But before we do, I do want to mention my beef with Lex. Go check out our TikTok. Unfortunately, the video I posted to our TikTok is not doing great, but the video I posted on my personal TikTok is like up there. So, anyways,
Yeah, so check it out.
yeah,
As
I'm
if you guys
basically
have
just gonna
TikTok,
keep
you can
bugging
just
him.
like search the hashtag All Things Nerd
Yeah,
Podcast, and your stuff will pop up too.
yeah. I'm bugging Michael Rosenbaum for hitting on my girlfriend until he responds to me. And it's all a joke. I'm actually a big fan, but I would like to get a reaction out of him. So I'm gonna just keep poking the bear. Yeah.
Also, on top of that, guys, we're coming up on the end of the month. So, our giveaway that's in partnership with Jerry Ma, who's been on the show, as you guys know, and is the author of The Monkey King. It's a graphic novel. Uh, so good. But we're doing a giveaway with him, so check that out on our Instagram page. So easy to enter and win some great stuff from both of us, both the podcast and from Jerry. You basically just have to follow both of us and like the picture. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you have
Yeah.
to do. No comments, no nothing. Uh,
And we'll kind
Lots
of
of
pick
fun.
you guys at random, basically.
Yeah, so between when this episode airs and when the next week's episode comes out, we will announce the winners on Instagram. So you still have some time to go and like it. You'll see the post.
Yeah.
It's very bright compared to most of our posts. Like the picture, follow us both, and you have a chance to win some merch from both of us, as well as like signed copies of the comic.
Stuff from our sponsors.
Stuff from our sponsors,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You would get hooked up. This
Yeah,
wouldn't just be like a t-shirt. You'd get shit from Jerry, you'd get shit from us, you'd get shit from our sponsors. Like
yeah,
it would be a lot. Yeah.
yeah. Lots
and
of good
and
stuff.
and we don't want to brag, but Jerry's kind of famous. You know, he's an actual comic book writer. You
Yeah,
want his shit.
and
So,
not just any comic book writer, but
yeah.
very talented. It's a very enjoyable comic to
Yeah.
read as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, go check that out. On top of that, we also have our Patreon page. If you like what we do and you want to support us, awesome. It's a great chance to get some for whatever you can give. If anything, if you can't, don't worry about it. Tell your friends. But if you can give, it gets you some exclusive merch, specific colors that we don't sell on our web store for merch. Just lots of great stuff, as well as some behind the scenes, as well as extended interviews, everything like that. That's all there. Guys, we love you.
Love you.
We have officially hit 1 year to the day from when our first episode came out.
We talked about Zack Schneider's Justice League, right?
And WandaVision. That's
And
how long ago it
WandaVision.
was. Uh,
Oof,
yeah.
that's
Uh,
crazy.
we love you guys. Thank you for being a part of this and listening weekly and being part of the community and letting us do what we do. So, Jake, you said we're going to close out this episode. Want to go ahead and
Close
do
it
that?
out. Guys, this has been the All Things Nerd podcast.
Podcast.